Welcome back to another video of the cycle cart build, and in today's episode I'm painting the chassis. It's not quite done. There's a couple of bits I need to do with the mounting of the motor, but there's some spots of rust which are coming up here and there, so I need to strip everything off, clean it and paint it all. As you can see, yesterday I put 2 coats of Hammerite Smooth Black onto the cart, but it's come out quite lumpy and it hasn't come out as smooth as it should have, so I'm going to sand it all down so it's smooth and has a nice finish, especially on the outside of the rails and on the floor where it will be seen most. And then any thin parts I'll touch up and give another coat on. As you can see, I left a couple of bits, like I left the back in the middle, I left the top of these sections, and I left part of these fronts, and that's because these need a little bit of shaping and were helpful for turning it over. That was used for turning it over, and I've left these bits on here because they are where the engine mount will be welded to, so that will be painted after. But it's working, and I'll show you what it's like after the sanding. The cart has had one layer of high build primer, and then has had 1 can's worth of Hammerite spray rather than brush on paint, and it has gone on much better and is looking much nicer. This sort of stuff where it's not going to be shown on the outside, which will be covered by bodywork, I'm not too fussed about. So like, there's these little pits which appeared from the brush on stuff, but I wasn't too worried about sanding that down. But you can see where the spray has gone, where it wasn't, where there was no brushed stuff, and where I sanded it down smooth is looking nice, but it still needs a second coat. And one point up at the front on both sides, it sort of reacted a little bit. You can sort of see what it was like, but I've sanded that down. I'll do a little bit more sanding. You can see the primer underneath, and then another can, and this should all be good. But yeah, there's this sort of almost ripple-like stuff came up when from the first coat of this. So hopefully that will all look good. But I'll take this back outside and give it another coat. The cart is now completely painted. As you can see, it's come out nicely. Everything's done. The sides of the cart are looking much smoother, and there's no sort of thin patches, and the areas at the front where it reacted before is now, it's not, you can't see where that was, and it's now come out nice and smoothly. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out. And the other parts that I painted, like the front axle and the steering tube and the springs and that sort of thing, so all of the suspension and steering parts and all the stuff you saw in the drivetrain got painted. So I'm now at a stage to move on. Got the start of the next video going, which is the pedals. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'm interested to see what you think of the chassis now it's complete. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.